So, Enactus is an international organization across 33 different countries with chapters all across those countries. For example, in Canada, there are around 66 chapters, I believe, in Canada alone. And what we do is we use entrepreneurial action to create social good and positive impact in our own local communities, which is what Enactus actually stands for. So the EN in Enactus stands for entrepreneurship, and then ACT stands for action, and US is us. So it believes in using teamwork to create social good using entrepreneurship. Last year at Enactus UBC, we had 4 projects: Innovate, Inspire, Building Bridges, and Cedar. I can tell you a little bit about each of these projects. So, the first one being Innovate. Innovate is a mentorship program where students from UBC, so such as myself, would go into high schools in our local community and teach high school students entrepreneurship, financial literacy, marketing, corporate social responsibility, essentially skills that we believe the local high school curriculum does not get to cover. And we essentially teach students how to start their own projects and their own businesses. By the end of our program, students will have built their own social enterprise, and they each compete in a final competition at the very end of the program against other school teams. And there's a grand winner that gets announced. Besides Innovate, we have 3 other projects. One being Inspire. And Inspire is very similar to Innovate, but instead we go into elementary and middle schools and teach a much younger audience about business ideation and project development. And Inspire was actually the project that we placed first in nationally at Enactus Canada Nationals this last year for the Youth Empowerment Challenge. And that's the first time we've actually ever placed first in an impact challenge at nationals, and it's the first time we've ever placed first in this category. So we're super excited about that. We also have Cedar, which diverts food waste on campus and addresses food insecurity amongst students and faculty. And finally, we have Building Bridges, which is also similar to Innovate and Inspire, but they teach the very important curriculum of Indigenous education in collaboration with Indigenous communities to non-Indigenous students. So one project I would highlight about from Enactus UBC is our project Cedar. So Cedar has actually been with Enactus UBC for quite a few years now, and because they do really great work. What they do is they address both food insecurity on campus and the issue of food waste. Um, Food insecurity is a large issue on the UBC campus because a survey found that 1 in 3 students at UBC are actually food insecure. And what food insecure means is that students don't have the means or the financial ability to afford every single meal that they're able to for their necessary and healthy consumption, which means that's a really huge issue if it means 1 in 3 students can't afford meals. Food is actually a huge issue in Canada alone. Around 60% of food in Canada gets wasted every single year, and that's the equivalent to 35 swimming pools filled. So that's a lot of food that gets wasted. So they work in collaboration with the AMS Food Bank and Sprouts, which is an on-campus soup kitchen. They do all that in order to be able to feed our food insecure students and staff on campus. In this past year alone, Cedar was able to rescue around 700 pounds of food waste and divert 3,000 pounds of greenhouse gas emissions. So that's why I believe Cedar does some really important work at Enactus. One university's project that really impressed me at last year's nationals was Wilfrid Laurier University's project. What they did was they built homes in the north of Canada for Indigenous communities and Indigenous families. They were able to work with construction companies from their local area to build these DIY home kits that they were able to ship to the Northwest Territories and Yukon to help local communities be able to build their own homes.